Elizabeth Gardner over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. The mountains don't seem like a bad place to be to cool off a little bit.
It's kind of a win-win. You know, they need all of us to go and spend our tourism dollars there, and we need to get out of the heat. This intense heat will stay with us not just today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, but all the way into the weekend. So looking at highs around 96 to 102, and that does not take into consideration the heat index. And this is going to be with us all week. The temperatures may be a little bit hotter for the next 3 days, but we're still talking about upper 90s for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Today we have a heat advisory that's in effect for a heat index at 104 to 109, and there's an extreme heat watch in effect for Tuesday and Wednesday. What does that mean? It means the Weather Service is just waiting to gather a little bit more information before they make the decision. Will it be an extreme heat warning tomorrow and Wednesday, or will it be a heat advisory? And it may be that parts of the viewing area split. And so as soon as we know, we'll let you know. This is a great time to continue to check in with us as we have changing situations happening. It's hot out there. There are people walking around here on Fayetteville Street, but not a whole lot of them. It's hazy out there. And of course, our temperature is already at 94 and our dew point is 72. That 72 means that it's very, very muggy out there. So it feels like 102 in Durham and Raleigh, 100 in Rocky Mount, 102 Goldsboro, 106 in Clinton. Why do we use the heat index to describe how it feels? Well, the way our bodies work is you sweat and then that sweat evaporates, and that's how we cool things. You know, dogs pant, we sweat, and we have the evaporation. But there's a lot of moisture already in the atmosphere. There's nowhere for that sweat to evaporate to, and it doesn't evaporate, and then your body just doesn't cool itself as well. And this is a reflection of how it feels to us when there's so much moisture in the atmosphere. 100 for today and tomorrow in Durham and Raleigh, 100, 101 in Fayetteville. Why are we so hot? It's a high pressure system sitting over us. High pressure systems bring sinking air. That sinking air compresses and warms when it compresses, and it's just not going anywhere. Just this big heat dome sitting right over us and just getting hotter and hotter. Now, once you get to Wednesday, we'll actually see a low pressure system that ducks under that high and gives us a small chance for some thunderstorms, and we're going to talk more about that in just a little while. Today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, all weather alert days. 108 is likely to be what we'll top out with in terms of the heat index today. 113 tomorrow and 107 Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, it still could be 103 to 105, so at least one of those days could still be a weather alert day. How about records? The record's 100. We're looking at 100 today, so we could tie it. 99 is the record for tomorrow. We'll probably bust that one with 102, and then potentially tying that record of 100 for Wednesday. How about the temperatures inside a car? That's one of the ways that people tend to get into trouble, is just forgetting that you have, your pets or your children in the car. And with a 100-degree day like today, in 10 minutes, your car feels like 119. In 30 minutes, it feels like 134. So it doesn't take much time at all. I recommend putting something in your front seat that reminds you that your pet or your child is in the car, so you know to take them out with you. The other thing that you need to realize is the impact of high heat is cumulative. If you're somebody who has to work outside, maybe you did fine today, maybe you're fine tomorrow, and then Wednesday, your body just can't take it any longer. Notice we put thunderstorms on the forecast starting Wednesday through the weekend. Coming up, we'll talk about our chances for storms and severe weather.
Yeah, those cooling stations are going to be super important for people that don't have access to air conditioning regularly, because it is just going to be so hot. You need to hydrate, Elizabeth, and spend as little time outside as you can.
And that's why I'm showing you Lake Gaston. I just saw somebody in a boat cruising on by. It's fine to get out on the boat or be at the pool in the morning, but really once we hit 1 o'clock, everybody really needs to be inside. It's really still not even safe if you're out here on the water. It's just too hot. So everybody, especially today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, when we have these extreme heat indices, you really just need to, once we hit lunchtime, just head on inside. 100 right now in Southern Pines and Fayetteville. That's what it feels like. It feels like 108 in Clinton and 102 in Goldsboro, 100 in Rocky Mount, 104 in South Hill, and 102 here in the Triangle. So again, very hot, and we still have multiple hours of heating to go. It will likely feel more like 108 to maybe even as high as 110 in some places. We talked about this a little while ago, but again, it's this high pressure system that is covering the eastern part of the country. High pressure systems have air that is sinking. That sinking air compresses and heats, and it creates this big heat dome, and that's affecting so much much of the eastern part of the country. So in the next 7 days, we'll see highs anywhere from 96 to 102. And then, of course, the heat index on top of that. This is a look at our hour-by-hour heat index for the rest of the day. And here's something that maybe you don't realize. I think a lot of people think, oh, when I get home from work, it'll be fine, right? This is 6 o'clock at 107. This is 7 o'clock at 106. We don't get out of the triple digits in terms of the heat index until we hit 10 p.m. And at that point, it's 99. We really don't start to feel much of a change until closer to midnight. So we just aren't seeing our temperatures cooling down very quickly at night. So again, early morning hours are going to be really your only bet for getting anything done outside safely. Heat advisory today, extreme heat watch for tomorrow and Wednesday. That just means the Weather Service is still collecting information and will decide whether it will be an extreme heat warning or heat advisory or a combination of both across our viewing area. 108 is about where we'll top out today in the triangle. 113 for tomorrow. This is the heat index. 107 Wednesday, 105 Thursday, and Friday's has dropped down a little bit. So maybe, if it drops down to 103, we'll be out of the advisories. You're still going to have to walk the dog this evening, right? And it's going to be so hot out there. Make sure you're sticking to the grass. The concrete, even right after work, will still feel like 120 degrees. And of course, on the asphalt, it'll feel like 145. So those paws, it'll be rough on those paws. So make sure you're walking in the grass. Now, our next weather maker is a low that's going to cut underneath the heat dome, and it's going to bring us a small chance for showers and thunderstorms. It's really not going to cool us off very much, but it does bring us some rain. Those of you who've been here for a while, if you get a little bit of rain, sometimes it just feels even steamier. 30% chance Wednesday and Thursday, 20% chance on Friday. It's not going to be enough where you're going to need to or be able to stop watering, but there is a level 1 risk for severe storms on Wednesday from the triangle area southward. A few cells that pop up could produce some wind damage. And for the first time, we have a 70% chance of a tropical system developing in the Atlantic. It is headed out into the Atlantic and away from air, but it's been away from the coast. But it's been a very slow start to the tropical season. Notice once we get out of the triple digits, we're still in the upper 90s Thursday all the way through Sunday. So again, this heat sticks around for quite some time.